we'll look at the roadmap for the Research Administration Support System and some features that we have planned coming up. And then I'm going to hand it over to Chris, and she's going to walk us through some features that we have that are going to be coming up sooner rather than later. And we'll go through some of the tools available to you in terms of support for RASS and some training guides that are available. And then really we wanted to spend some time going over your questions and hopefully providing answers to those questions. So we've dedicated some time at the end to do a RASS Q&A. So that's our plan for today. So just talking about the RASS project and where we are now and where we've been. The Research Administration Support System went live back in March of 2019. And at that time, OSP began using RASS to input proposal and award information. When they received a Form 10, that data got entered into RASS. And meanwhile, we also entered that data into the older system, which was called ESRA, in order to keep the sponsored portal up and running. So OSP began using RASS in March of 2019 to enter proposal and award data. And we also, at that time, maintained the old system. Starting in October of 2019, we began using RASS and OSP to do the award distribution emails. And we also connected the RASS data to KFS in terms of pulling over that award data. So for the award distribution emails, as an award was finalized, the email alerting you that it was finalized came from the system starting in October of 2019. Fast forward a little bit to January 2020, and that's when we began rolling out RASS to campus for the purpose of replacing the sponsored portal. So the common tasks that were done in the sponsored portal, campus users began using RASS to do those things. So think about change requests to an award, requesting a sub-award or initiating a sub-award, as well as some reporting out of the system. And we did that rollout from January to until May 1st. And on May 1st, we actually turned off the sponsored portal, and RASS became the system for all of those portal features. We also turned off the RA dashboard, so RASS became the system for reporting as well as WebFin2. And basically all users were using RASS for anything that they were previously doing in the portal. From there, our next step was to begin what we call proposal development in RASS. And that started at the end of June of this year. We began migrating users off of the Form 10 and into RASS for creation of a proposal record and routing of that proposal for signatures, again, replacing the Form 10 with the system. So many of you are already using RASS for that purpose, for creating proposals instead of using the Form 10, routing that proposal through the department to get signatures, and then over to OSP for ultimate submission to the sponsor. I just have a little note down here that if you're not currently using RASS for that purpose and you're ready to start using RASS for that purpose, we would love to hear from you. So if you could send us an email at rass@research.cornell.edu, that would be fantastic. And we can work with you to get some training and get you scheduled to begin using RASS for proposals. So that's where we've been. Here's a little bit about where we're going with RASS. So as I mentioned at the end of June, we launched the sponsored project proposals in RASS. We're currently working on some enhancements to those existing features. So things to improve what you're doing with awards, improving some of the functionality with proposals. And these are the things that Chris is going to walk us through here in a minute. In addition to that, we have some larger enhancements planned for the system. So we're going to be looking at rolling out some functionality to better support the current and pending process on campus. And we're targeting the first quarter of 2021 for that functionality. And once that's done, we'll be looking to add some functionality to RASS where you can build a detailed budget from within the system using RASS as the tool to build that budget. And in addition to that, we're considering rolling out system-to-system functionality, and we're targeting the second quarter of 2021 for that. So those are some of the high-level features that we're looking to do in the future with the system. So let's walk through some of those. So we're in the process of rolling out RASS for proposals. And what that means is basically there's features, again, we're replacing the Form 10, but some of the benefits of using RASS for proposals are that if you're working with a package from grants.gov, you can automatically pull that information into the system, and that information will populate who the sponsor is, what the deadline date is, and that sort of information. So eliminates the need for some data entry of sponsor and deadline dates if you're working with an FOA. You can easily see the deadlines that OSP has for internal submission. So for example, if you're looking to get a full review on a proposal, in the proposal in RASS, you can see when you should be submitting that to OSP in order to get that full review. And you can actually add those dates easily to your calendar. You can upload detailed budgets directly into RASS. So again, we're looking in the future to build the tool so that you can actually create the budget, but right now you can upload those detailed budgets. You can upload your draft or final proposal documents in the system, and Chris is going to talk about some enhancements that we have coming in our next version surrounding that, or actually the version that we just launched, which is exciting. Another thing is that subawards are built as part of the proposal. And so what that means is that when that proposal gets awarded and it's time to initiate that subaward, the data is already there. So it eliminates some of the duplicate work that happens right now with subawards. And the system allows you to connect records together. So what that means is that if you have a previous proposal that was submitted, you can link it with a new proposal that's going out. Or for example, if you have a non-financial agreement that's associated with a new proposal or award, you can link those things together as well. So those are some of the features of the proposal. In addition to that, with the proposals comes the ability to route that proposal for signature. So ultimately, we're replacing manual paper-based routing process with the Form 10. The system supports what we call parallel routing. So what that means is once you've submitted it, it's going to go to various people for their either attestation or approval of that proposal. So there's no specific order that those things need to happen in. So for example, if when you submit it, it goes out and you have a co-PI in the project, they can open that proposal and provide their attestation, and that can happen before or even after a chair approval happens. So the system supports parallel routing. We have had some feedback about this process since our launch in June, in that the system is very flexible and it allows multiple people in a record at one time, but that's also causing some issues with people being able to provide their approvals while other people are in the record. And Chris is going to talk about some of the work that we're doing to try and alleviate some of the confusion that's happened with that. So flexibility got us in a little bit of a pickle there when we first launched, but we're working through that. Approvals can happen anytime via any device, so people don't have to be on their computer. They can actually do those approvals from their phone if they needed to. the system allows the approval to happen once the administrative portions of a project are done. So for example, you build the proposal in the system, you add the details about the sponsor and the deadline and the budget and the compliance, and then you can submit that for approval. It would go to the PI, to the co-PIs and the chair people for their approvals. Meanwhile, the PI can continue to work on the science pieces, and those could be uploaded and then submitted before it's actually due to the sponsor. So it supports that process that we know was happening on campus. The workflow is available in the proposal, so you can see as it goes through its route who signed it, who you're still waiting on for approval, and that is very clear in the system. So that's some details about the routing. In addition to proposals, we have the similar process for non-financial agreements. So right now, there's a non-financial agreement form similar to the Form 10 that gets submitted. Those are also being replaced by RASS. So we're replacing that manual paper-based form. So you can create your MTAs and NDAs and DUAs, et cetera, in the system. The information that the system collects is going to be based on the type of non-financial agreement it is. So if you're putting in a material transfer agreement, the system's going to ask about the material and the material location. Different questions would be filled out based on a non-disclosure agreement, for example. And again, that same workflow is available in a non-financial agreement that you see in a proposal. So that status and workflow is clear along the way as well. So that's what's available now in RASS. What we're currently working on is a tool to better support current and pending in the system. We do have some functionality available now in RASS that supports current and pending. So for example, you can print a current and pending report out of the system in various formats with the data that, that RASS knows about. So projects that have an OSP number, you can print those on a current and pending report. And currently in the system, we have formats for NIH, USDA, and we have something called the Cornell standard format, which is the ability to download your current and pending data into a CSV file that can be used to populate various current and pending reports. In addition to that, the system does have an NSF option for downloading, but I just would like to note that that NSF option should not be used for submission at this point. So as of October, NSF changed the format of their current and pending report. And although there is the option to print a current and pending report in the old format for NSF, that's not what should be used for submission right now. So again, the current and pending report information that you can print out of the system currently has those projects that have an OSP number, and the information that was included did not include information about effort. So what we're planning to do is build some functionality in the system so that you can track and maintain current and pending data in order to populate these reports. And we're also going to be adding some additional templates. So we're going to include Department of Energy and Department of Defense as options for templates with this new functionality. And I'm just going to show real quick a little mock-up of what this is going to look like. Now, this is just a sketch of where we're headed with this current and pending, but basically there's going to be a tool here where it's going to show the projects for a specific researcher, and there'll be a section for current projects, and you can see some of the key details here. You can't really see very well. Hopefully that's a little bit better. So you can see the OSP number, you've got information about the title, the sponsor, the dates, and the dollars on the project. And then there's information about the person, months, and the effort, as well as the goal for the project. And you'll notice here that there's an edit button. So the idea is that you would be able to go in and edit the information about this project in order to populate your current and pending report. So things that you could edit would be the project goal and then the effort information. So in addition to current active projects, we also have pending projects with the same type of information, the ability to edit, and then also the option to notify OSP if something is not funded. And if you choose that option, it's going to remove that project from printing on the current and pending report and send that information over to OSP so that they could mark the status of that proposal in RASS. And just scrolling down, there would be information about plan submissions, and some of the current and pending formats require information about plan submissions. Some current and pendings require information about projects that took place in the previous 5 years. So we would have that information as well. But something that would be brand new functionality to RASS, it would be the ability to add other projects. So those projects that don't typically go through the OSP system, they don't have an assigned OSP number, but they are projects or information that you need to include on your current and pending, such as awards that are internal to Cornell, or maybe an external project that PI has with another institution. So those types of things we would now be able to add and maintain that data directly in the system. So that's where we're headed with current and pending. All right. So after current and pending functionality is released, we're going to be building onto the budget. And the idea here is that we're going to create a tool in the system so that you could use the system to create budgets. And the reason why that would be helpful is because we'll have built-in information. So we'll have built-in indirect cost, fringe benefit, and escalation rates. The budgeting tool will be flexible in that you could provide just summary information, or you could use it to build as much detail as you need to in your budget. And it will also have the ability to create different budget scenarios and then select the budget that you would like to submit with the proposal. It's going to support collaboration across Cornell departments. So there's a concept where you can build a budget and then have what's considered a split budget as part of that. So if the overall budget is split between a PI and a co-PI, you could use this budgeting tool to allow people to work on that budget at the same time. So collaboration across there. And the overall goal is to promote consistency with budgeting across campus. And then once we get to our system-to-system submission, it will help to eliminate duplicate work. So that takes me to system-to-system. So right now, grants.gov offers the ability to send proposals to grants.gov through a tool that's called system-to-system. And we're considering implementing that as part of the research administration support system with the goal of eliminating duplicate work and providing some additional validations as part of that submission process. So that's on our roadmap currently, and we're looking to do that after we implement the current and pending features that I talked about, as well as the detailed budget. So I am going to actually hand it over to Chris now, and Chris is going to walk us through some of the enhancements that we're building in the system to support the current functionality, as well as some of the tools available to help with support.
Thanks, Carrie. Hey, everybody. So I'm going to be bouncing around on a few things. I tried to get all of these set up early so that hopefully they'll all work and you'll be able to see them, and I won't have to do a lot of searching and jumping around. But as Carrie mentioned, we have some new features that were just released actually yesterday, very early yesterday morning. And one of them is the ability, if you are using RASS for your proposal development right now, you may recall that there is a combined and separate option within the research content and other proposal documents panel of your proposal record. We now have a third option, which is labeled sponsor system link and information. In checking that, it allows the, sorry. Hold on. I was afraid this was going to happen because my login is always right about now. So much for being prepared. All right. The good thing is I have it all written down, so it will only take me a second to get back in there. Maybe. All right, let's continue that. We have a third option now because many of you are putting in proposals through some other online system, and what information that you're getting from the unit isn't necessarily the final proposal details, and the review process often happens in that other system. So we've added a third option. And when you do that, you're able to add in the proposal number. So if you're working in Fastlane, the proposal ID number, and then you can upload any relevant documents that may help the GCO find that project and describe what's going on with that. So you can add those documents. The type is free form text. You can put anything you want in there, add additional comments. You can add multiple documents. When it gets to the GCO, right now I'm logged in as an RA. When it gets to the GCO will finish their review in the other system, and then they're able to then upload the final version of the proposal, mark it final, and all of the documents that get added in this section by the department will remain in this panel. Only the final version of the proposal that's uploaded and marked as final, or I should say document or documents that are uploaded by the GCO as final, will then display down in our project documents panel. All the others will remain only in the research content and be available to you at any time. So that was released yesterday. We also released some changes to the language in the approval and attestation forms for the PI and the department chairs or directors. So when the PI receives an email that they can go in PI or co-PI, I should state, they are then directed to the project. When they click on the link in that email, they're directed to this attestation form, and I've put it so that someone else is also in this record, and the message that you get is there's another user viewing this project. This is the language we've added to help with the collaborative editing block issue that Carrie mentioned earlier. While it doesn't resolve the problem, and that is being worked on with our vendor Novolution, so we are trying to get to the point where attestations and approvals don't require, aren't blocked by the collaborative editing block that we currently have and that people are experiencing. So this is the message that the co-PI, PI would receive. And similarly, this is the same record. This is what the department chair would see for that same project record. And you can see that the department chair also can see who is logged in. So they could reach out if they were interested to let them know that when they're done, they need to get into the project record as well. So when they do come in, there will be a drop down for status that they can approve or return for modifications, and they just need to choose one of those. If they choose modifications required, they can also state what the issues are or concerns they have, but then they ultimately will submit that approval. Okay, and then, oh, and just a friendly reminder, if you are in a project record, it is very helpful when you're done to exit the record, and that just means go to either a search screen or one of the other pages so that you're not blocking that record for someone else, because as Carrie mentioned, the first person in does block the edit access for others that need to come in. So that's department, PIs, chairs, OSP, SFS, all your accountants. So if you're in a project record and you're done, go ahead and exit out, because right now our time frame for that is very long term, and we are also working on a solution so that similar to when you're in a banking website, that you are I hate to use kicked out, but you are you're timed out from having access, and so we are also working on a solution for that. So then we have also updated our solutions or our searches for, gotta find the right one here. I have way too many of these open. So on your search screens, we have now improved the availability of different statuses. So you will find in RASS, RASS has the concept of stage and status. So you'll note that the stages are kind of the larger umbrella of proposals. We also have pre-proposal stage, proposals, and then proposal post-submission, proposal pre-contract negotiation, award, award amendment, and closeout. Along with each one of those stages are statuses that go along with those, each of those stages. And you'll see those stages or statuses here. But one of the things you may notice if you've been in RASS very much, that this list doesn't automatically include those statuses that we consider terminal or inactive for a project record. In order to search for project records that are in an inactive status, you would want to be sure to click this little box here that often is kind of hidden. It doesn't like me today, apparently. I prepared these all last night, so it didn't like me very much doing that, apparently. And those statuses, once you click on that box, you will see that the statuses available to you are much broader, and they include abandoned, closed, award not funded, withdrawn. So all of those statuses are now available to you. You can limit it by stage, because some of those statuses are the same across different stages, or you can just use those different statuses. So remember to use that if you are trying to do that. Those increased statuses are alphabetical, and the stages are in line with the life cycle of a project. Those same statuses are also available on the ad hoc search as well. And if there are any questions, Gal, go ahead and stop me along the way. So those are already available in RASS now as part of the release for what we call 2018 release. There were many other changes and bug fixes that went along with that release. In approximately 2 weeks or so, we expect to release 2019, which will be about the end of October. And with that will come some additional features as part of RASS. And one of those features is for department contacts, for project records, you'll now be able to see something everybody's been looking for are the department contacts. So within a project record, we already know we have key personnel, listing. And in the 2019 release, you will then find a little eye that will then be used to see the department contacts that are assigned as part of the department setup as task assignees for each of the units. So if I click on here, oh my goodness. If you click on there, you will then see the equivalent of what's been assigned over here. There we go. So let's try that again. So you'll see a list of department contacts. And in this case, the department contact that we see that's assigned to this unit is demo user. So you see demo user, and included with that is the ability to create an email from in your own email client of your own. So that provides who it's sent to, the OSP number project, and who the PI is. So hopefully that's a good feature everybody's excited about. I know the GCOs and OSP are. So we have that for the PI and each of the co-PIs. You'll be able to see those department contacts. Also within the record, while it's available now, you can see who the SFS accountant is on a project, on an award record. You can see the accountant, but it will now feed from, in the next release, it will feed from the KFS system. And so right now it's a manual addition to a project record. So in the 2019 release, it will be actually an integration with KFS and add the accountant accordingly from the record in KFS. You'll also notice that there's a little, I don't know if you all can see that. I can increase it here. There is a little envelope next to the accountant, which will also generate an email. And there is also a little envelope to send an email to both the proposal and the award GCO. Good stuff. We've been having a lot of people asking about the ability to get and know who to and how to send an email quickly from the record. So those are also available.
Chris, can I just interrupt real quick? So there's some questions in the chat about who the department contacts are and how they're set up. Mm-hmm. And I would just say that if there's questions about who's set up in the department, you could reach out to Chris or myself at RASS at research.cornell.edu, and we're happy to look at those departments and how they're set up and make sure that the right people are in there. So so just send us a note and we can look at that specifically.
Right. So we have been working with many of the units to get those set up as we onboard people. And so if you, like Carrie said, if you have questions or want to know how they're set up, just send us an email.
And just one other note, it was just suggested to me to note that if the GCO or the accountant aren't assigned yet in the project, that you won't see those fields or the envelope until those people are assigned on the project.
That's correct. It won't display at all. That's correct. Any other questions, Carrie?
I think that's it right now. I've answered a couple of other ones in the chat, but I'll let you know if something else comes up.
Great. So
Chris, real quick, there was one, will the award control accounts be added for the record?
Not yet, but in the future. So we do have the ability coming to link directly to WebFin. That's also coming in 2019. So that actually may be the answer that they're looking for. There will be a link from within, and actually I can show you that. As part of 20, I hadn't gotten there yet, but that's good. As part of 2019 as well, You'll note now, if you do a search for project records, and I just did a quick search to pull up some records, but at the end of each of the records, there has always been a pencil and maybe it's, so I'm signed in as me, so I have a little bit more administrative ability, but you will now see a link to the web financials. So this takes you to the account record for this particular project, for the control account. Does that answer the question that people had?
It looks like it. There's another question that came in. When they are obtaining the subaward information, will they also set up a new vendor request for the payments that will need to be processed to them?
The vendor setup and all of that is not part of RASS. So whatever you're currently having to do with accounting and vendor setup will still have to continue.
Okay. And then will the link for control accounts go to KFS?
It's going to web financials.
It says the university official GL is KFS, not WebFin.
So there is a planned update that does include the account, but I would have to look myself. I'm not sure if that's intended to go to KFS or to WebFin. We're trying to get you connected to that information, but yeah, I know this goes to WebFin. So currently,
correct.
Thanks, Paul.
So my understanding is that you will be able to search on any account that's associated with the project in RASS when we implement the new search feature. And we can, and I'll include a flag in the data that we give to Nevolution as to which are the control accounts. And we could then conceivably implement a direct link to the control account in KFS. Right now, we can't do that because we don't actually know the account numbers in RASS.
That's right. Yeah, we don't have that information. Thank you so much, Paul. One of the other updates that's coming is improved use of our notifications. As you all can, if you've been in RASS much, you'll see we have both a listing of tasks and we have a listing of notifications. Plus you're getting some emails. We do have a bunch of our email notifications turned off because we found that they were going out to way too many people within the org code structure and department setup information, as well as for too many purposes. So one of the notifications was changes in state or statuses of a project, and that was going out to way too many people and way too often. So we are improving our notifications to limit those to our task assignees and or those people that are submitting information to us, and how frequently, as well as for what purpose. So watch for changes on that. We'll give you some more updates in the future about that. We do have an upcoming update for when you add an FOA to a project. And if you are adding an FOA, right now, the closing date of that FOA is what ends up posting for the due date. And so if you connect an FOA and you notice the information's here and you see this deadline is 2/16/2021, that may be, and I don't know this program well enough to ensure there aren't others, but title for our solicitation that has multiple deadlines or open deadlines where you can continue to submit at any time. And so that date for the closing date, which is fed over from grants.gov, ends up becoming the due date for this project or a proposal. And right now you aren't able, you can click on here and say, I want to change a request to change, but that doesn't update these dates, which then allows you to know when the proposal is due based on the actual due date to the sponsor. This is a good example of that are NIH, is they have multiple cycles throughout their solicitations, and their solicitations are open sometimes for years. And you want to be able to update to the actual cycle that you are going to submit to. Checking this doesn't update this to the one the cycle you want to apply to. But a future release, the 2019 release, when you associate an FOA, you are able then to enter the sponsor deadline, which then will also update that. So that's coming in the 2019 release as well. We talked about the link to WebFin and how to find that. One of the other updates is the ability to update. Our department RAs have asked for the ability to update our researchers' profiles, and we do have an update to those. And as an RA, you'll be able to come in and update their address and their general information. Some of the information is static, which is their names, first name, last name, and in addition to that, what you will see right now, it doesn't include this, but what you will be able to see is the lead unit that they, for their default project unit, you'll be able to update that, as well as the uploaded CVs and biosketches kind of library that it creates within a profile. How are we doing on questions? Don't want to keep rolling and miss opportunities for that.
Keep rolling. Carrie's answering on the side, so.
Right. And another, if any of you have done, I've met with many of you to walk through how we initiate a subaward, and a couple of the details that aren't currently available in the system right now to initiate that subaward. Include what dates to use for the initial subaward that's being released. And part of that information is to allow the subaward team to know definitively what dates you want to include. So in the proposal document, you'll notice there is a budget panel. This is a subaward proposal record going to Harvard University. And as part of the proposal, when you start using proposal development, you can upload the budget here, budget justification, and enter in the proposal budget periods. So you would add that. This is going to click on me. I knew it. Oh, good. You will enter your budget periods, and you'll notice that we have the total here. Here's the dates, here's the dollars. That's what's at the proposal stage. At the award stage, after the project's been awarded and we now have to issue a subaward agreement, we have the subaward agreement stage. So you'll see a proposal stage. Now we're in an agreement stage. And to initiate that subaward, the department then would complete any missing information, review the information that was uploaded at the proposal stage. And then one of the key pieces is, what are those initial dates and dollars for the proposal agreement? That may or may not be the same as what was proposed. So what we have added to this is to, before initiating the subaward, make sure the first period of the budget, which you're adding here, or updating. So if you had already updated your budget here at the proposal stage, you'd want to review this and ensure that the first period that you're entering is the expected initial period and dollar amount for the subaward agreement to be released. So that's step one. We have some additional pieces that are coming for our subaward initiation, which include deliverables, which is another piece that needs to be added right now in our review notes. So with 2019, that are only a few of the highlights of things that will be released in 2019. In 2020, we also have some, as always, some new things coming out. And one of those things is some increased functionality for our subaward searches. We have right now some limitations and so need some clarifications. If you look on your subaward results, you don't know what stage, you don't know what status things are in. So with the 2020 release, you will be able to see what that subaward stage and status is. And it would be very similar to what you can see in the sponsored projects. And you'll also be able to do, if you recall, the little check mark that we had for including inactive statuses. We also have that to help limit your search criteria. And we've asked also, as part of this enhancement, to make this link an active link. If you have access to these subaward records, this link for the OSP number would be an active link to the project. You can use this link right now for editing. You don't always have to edit anything, but it is the way to get to that record now. But we have asked to have this be an active link. And we've also asked to have the ability to add more than one status. So if I want to see all subawards that are in initial subaward or subaward profile review, I could multi-select statuses, which is what you're able to do in our search criteria here. So we can add multiple statuses here. So we've asked to have that improved there. The last thing I want to share with folks is our blog site. Carrie's mentioned the email before, but the website is guide.rass.cornell.edu. And this is where you can find all kinds of good stuff about RASS. This is where you can always find the login link to log into RASS. So you can come here to start your RASS adventure. You can also find the RASS at research.cornell.edu email that Carrie mentioned earlier, and that's how you can get in touch with us. And Carrie and I and David Cleveland all monitor this website, so we try our very best to get back in touch with you immediately with any questions or assistance that may need to be provided. We also hold office hours Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 2. Would love to see you all there. And here's the Zoom link. With any questions, just drop in at your leisure during that time. If these times don't fit your schedule, just let us know, because we can also schedule outside those times if needed. I did want to point out a few new things that we've added to the site as part of our how-tos. You can find information about the PI attestation process, the dean approval process, the chair approval process, in addition to many other pieces. But one of the pieces that I do want to point out is to initiate the subaward. And when you click on that link, you're brought here. The very top is a very quick overview of the initiate process. Further down from that is very detailed panel by panel requirements that need to be included as you create your subaward agreement to submit to the subaward agreement record to submit to the subaward team. So if you have any questions and would like to know what is expected in each one of those panels, you can go through all of those details. Again, if you want to walk through that, I'm happy to sit with you and do that, and as I know Carrie would be as well. So many of your questions may be answered here. You can start here, or you can certainly contact us for assistance. As part of the process, we've also included the checklist for initiating a subaward, and you can see this online here as just a general review process, or you, if you're like me and like to be able to actually physically use something for a checklist, you can download the checklist and either use it online or in paper form if you choose. Carrie, did I forget anything we wanted to cover?
I think that covered it. We did want to open it up for other questions if you haven't asked them in chat already. If you have other questions for us, we've got about 6 minutes to talk about your specific questions. Anything? So I would just like to point out that if you have feedback or suggestions, if you pop into the office hours and share that with us, or send an email to that rass@research.cornell.edu, your feedback is so important. This is how we know what types of things we should be focused on for enhancing the software. Is just, it comes directly from you. So please don't hesitate. Please don't be shy. Let us know what works well. We'd like to hear that too, but what could work better, that's always important for us to hear. So please, please do reach out. And also, if you're interested and we haven't spoken with you yet about using RASS to replace the Form 10 process, please do send us an email at rass@research.cornell.edu, and we'll get in touch with you about scheduling some training. It's really just a walkthrough of how to create the proposal and what the routing process looks like, and the various emails that go out and how you would receive information back. So we just give an overview of that, which is all documented on this website too, but we just like to go through it and answer questions as they come up.
All right, any other questions? Thank you, Carrie and Chris. This was very informative. We really appreciate your time. And again, if anybody has any suggestions for future roundtables, please let me know. And if you need the RACP credit, let me know that as well. And we look forward to seeing everybody on November 19th for our next roundtable, which will feature the research development team. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.